This is always the fun part of, hey, are we live?
I think it's a part of every live stream. You have
Yeah.
to do it.
Can you hear us? Can you see us? Hi, Zach. Okay, I think it's going. I always like the fact that I remember to mute myself beforehand. And again.
It looks like we're live. I see us.
Yeah, it looks like it. If you can see us, please say that you can see us.
And here, that's part of the important things, I think.
Hi, Becca. Okay, cool. Thanks, Zach. All right. Okay, no, that's not gonna work. Trying to get all the tabs in the way that I want them is not working. I'm gonna give up. Okay, how's everybody doing? Where did my wine go? There it is.
Oh, I should have gotten wine. I didn't even think about that.
I mean, I literally I opened this and it's like this cupcake rosé, and I was like, oh. I'm gonna still drink it though because I bought it. It's alcohol, but it was not the choice that I should have made.
I used to, I say used to, I'm still very much like a vodka person, but like when I went to one of my friends' places like a year ago, she was like, oh my God, you should try this wine. And now I'm a vodka and a wine person.
Yes. Taste. I love it. I was just talking about vodka with my boyfriend and his friend, and they were like, I think they like actually took like nice vodka and like Grey Goose and put the Grey Goose through like coffee filters. It tasted exactly like the nice vodka.
Seriously?
Something like that. It's like you can't even tell the difference or something. But that's like, I guess for me, it's like a whiskey drinker. It's like you can tell the difference between like bottom shelf and like nice shit.
Yeah.
It's alcohol. Yes, it's alcohol. I can't remember. At some point something was alcohol abuse recently. I texted my twin. If you guys didn't know, I'm a twin. Happy birthday. And he asked me how 26 is like. And I was like, well, it feels like 25, but a little hungover, which is pretty much my entire life. So, hi, Chelsea. How's everybody doing? I decided not to really name this like the book push club because it's not really that. And I failed epically this month again. 2020 has been a strong start to BookTube, guys. I'm doing the best. What's up, Hermione Granger? How's it going? This is exciting. Yeah. Okay, what is going on? And then I start screwing around with. You've read Evelyn Hugo, right?
Yeah, I've read The 8 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo.
Notes. Oh God. Oh no, she asked me a question about a book.
Okay, so like
ever read Nevernight? Okay, context for everybody. RC and I have been friends since I started BookTube. I don't know how long you had a channel, but like pretty much since day one. And I've been telling you to read that fucking book for years.
Okay, but to be fair, I am finally in the point in like, well, okay, no, I've always been in the point in my TBR where I can fit it in. But to be fair, I have no real excuse. But it is now out of a box instead of in a box since I did technically move. Well, not technically, I did move, but now it's out of a box.
Well, that's good. Years.
So yeah. Yeah, years.
Literal years.
I did read the first page, and let me just say, Jay Kristoff could slice me in half, and I would say thank you.
Oh yeah, no, I've pretty much told him exactly that a few times. When I drunk text him on Instagram. Has happened more than once. Mm-hmm. And yeah. Mm-hmm. Yes. Nevernight. All the time. Becca, come on. Get your shit together. Read Nevernight.
Ooh, okay, see, at least now someone else in the audience is like,
True.
I feel seen.
I'm so glad that I moved this 2 hours earlier than normal, but there's still people here. Like, I'm so glad that everybody doesn't have a life, just like me. Thank you so much, people. I'm alphabetizing my unread bookshelf, so like, thanks. Oh, of course, Jessica. I love the fact that you're alphabetizing. I remember when I was a youngin', I alphabetized my books, and now I'm like, but I like them to look pretty. Why would I have any sort of actual like system other than I try to keep authors together?
Yeah.
Hi, Jonathan. It's a friend of mine from high school. Oh my gosh. That's so cool. Hello,
Everyone's
thank
coming
you.
out for your birthday.
I know. Did everybody like my title? I really like the It was funny. People kept being like, so what are you going to do for your birthday? And I'm like, BookTube has been neglected like really badly. And I was going to like film all day. I finished a book today. I read. I finished something. Where did I put it? One second. There's just a fuck ton of books on the floor right here. But I finished Docile. This is actually the first arc that I like went out of my way to request, and they immediately approved me.
Wow.
But this comes out in March. That's actually why I read it. But it's basically like a dystopian future where the debt crisis has gone like crazy out of control, and you can take a drug called Docilene, and you become someone's sex slave. Basically.
Was it good?
It's really fucking good. Really fucking good.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, it's so good. Like the first part of it reminded me like it's very sexy. It's very intense. Like there were parts where I was crying for no reason. Like that, and like it's so good. I think I want to do a review on it, but like I can't make words right now, so that's cool. But no, I knew that it was going to be a 5-star read even before, because I like the arc dropped and I immediately went to Tor and was like, I need it, give it to me, please, 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 please. I will do anything. But it's a debut, and there are parts that are a little slower, but it's really good, really, really good.
I'm gonna have to see if we get that arc in at work, because if we do, I'm immediately take it.
Yeah, I wanted to message my friend who still works for the company if she had seen it, and I was like, if it's still there, or if you know who has it, go get it, because you need to read it. I need to be able to talk about this. And I was gonna read it with Melanie from Melda the Any. I was gonna buddy read it, and we've both had the arc for so long. Totally was gonna do the buddy read she had on like that day a few weeks back or so. Yeah, I did message her. Just like read all of it in the last week or so. Yes, love the Infernal Devices. Love it.
I love 90% of it.
True.
Okay, so you know the tier making thing that's been going on Twitter, right?
Yes, totally didn't just kind of steal that idea for a video. What?
So like there was the one that was the like all the Cassandra Clare books, and so one of my mutuals commented on it because I had Clockwork Princess lower than all the other Infernal Devices books, and they're like, how do you have that one lower? And I was like, there's a part in it that just kind of really rubbed me the wrong way when I read it way back in 2014, and I have not let that go.
I think it's funny because I just did. Sorry to whoever started doing the tier making lists on Twitter. Stole your idea, made a video out of it today. Spoilers for videos, I guess. Who knows when it's gonna get edited? Hopefully it'll happen. But I was ranking them, and there was two of the like new, or I don't remember what type of covers they were, but I realized I don't know the difference between the Infernal Devices actual names. So you can say Clockwork Princess to me, and I'll be like, that's an Infernal Devices book, but I don't know which one. No fucking clue. And then the funny part too is that I actually convinced myself that I had read the third one. Like way back when I made like a video on this. Like my first storytime video where I explained that I reread the first two, and then I started reading the third one, and I had no fucking clue what was happening. I had convinced myself because I saw online that a certain character dies at the end of the book. I convinced myself that I had read the whole thing And then when I was reading it, when I thought I was rereading it, I was like, I don't remember this. I don't think I've read this book. I don't think I've read this. I was having like a crisis. But no, it was funny because I don't know the difference between any of the books. I just know that I love that series and I want to reread it, but like I don't have time to reread Shadowhunter books because I'll start from the beginning and then not read anything else. It'll be bad.
That's the reason why, like, okay, so obviously this book came out like years ago, but City of Heavenly Fire, when that book dropped, I bought it. I bought it immediately. I was like, oh my God, I'm going to get through all the books and then start this one. And I read books 1 through 5. And funnily enough, I felt the same way. I thought I had read book 5. Like, I thought I had already read it. So I was like, I'm just going to reread it to, like, refresh my mind. I finished book 4 and I was like, wasn't this the ending to book 5? Then I start book 5 and I was like, what is going on?
4 and 5 are kind of like not great. So
yeah.
A little interchangeable.
4 made me stop the series for a while. And granted, this was like obviously years and years ago. But like 4 made me stop the series. And then when I was rereading them, I was listening to them via audio. And I can't remember if it's books 1 and 2 or 2 and 3 that have the same narrator. I think it's 2 and 3. They have the same narrator, and I really like the person who did the audiobook for that. Book 1 has like 3 different like versions. There's one who with the girl from The Duff. Yeah, like she has one version, and then there was the original version, and then there's like a new, I don't know, there's 3 versions of the audiobook for City of Bones. But then I started the audiobook for book 4. And I could not get through it because I did not like any of the narrators. They didn't even have the same person from books 2 and 3.
Weird.
So then I started physically reading it. And rereading book 4 was...
Yeah, no, my one of my friends read, I think, all of the Shadowhunter books in the span of like less than 2 months. And she has 2 kids. She works full time. I have no fucking clue how she did it, but she almost quit on book 4 or 5. I can't remember. Whichever one fucking sucks. I literally don't remember. I want to say it was Lost Souls, or maybe it was the one before that.
I feel like it has to be City of Fallen Angels because, like, City of Lost Souls, like it has some redeeming qualities. Nothing about it makes me go.
Yeah.
I think that's the main reason why I never read City of Heavenly Fire, even though it like tied in with the Infernal Devices. Like I was so satisfied with how the Infernal Devices ended that I was just like,
I'm pretty sure it had to be book 5 because it was like once you get to City of Heavenly Fire, it's gonna be great. It's gonna be lit. Yeah, and then she got to City of Heavenly Fire, and she's like, "You're right. It's fucking lit, you asshole."
I mean, I will say City of Heavenly Fire is worth owning, even though I haven't even read it, just for the fact that when you take the dust jacket off, there's that like really dope art.
I get that back. I lent her all of my books. I was like, at first I was like, do not touch. And then I like literally just handed them out to people. Because I'm like, I don't really like these copies anymore. They're old as shit. And if I really wanted to reread these, I could probably just listen to an audiobook or something. It's not really that big a deal.
Yeah.
But there's only a few books right now that I like won't give out, like my Nevernight books.
Well,
like,
yeah,
because they're all signed. Like they're ones that I'm like, when I moved from Washington to Nevada, I kept them in a backpack and took it with me everywhere. Like they were not in the moving truck. I had them with me. Priority. Like they're worth a lot of like sentimental emotion to me, but they're like probably actually, you know, like they're not really that big a deal, but like I need them to be in my life forever.
No, I know what you mean.
Yeah.
When I was packing and moving, I had 2 books in my book bag. One of them was one that I was currently reading at that point that I haven't finished. Oops. And the other one was More Happy Than Not by Adam Silvera, because I was like, I can't let anything happen to you.
I understand. Yeah. Like it's crazy that books are so important like that. I like the fact that whenever I like explain what I do on YouTube, people are like, eh. And then I'm on here and people like fucking get it. It's just, it's great. Like today I'm like, I'm 26 and I talk about books on the internet. But no, I really want to do more like content just in general.
Yeah.
It's kind of a process right now. Like I really want to see if I can go to like a whole bunch of thrift stores and find like the entire Twilight collection and read
I'm
it
sure
all
you
in one
can.
day. Right? Mm-hmm.
That's not a bad idea.
It's
Are
a
you
good
going to be
idea.
reading it with wine?
Of course. I would it's gonna be wine and like an entire bottle of whiskey. Like let's be quite frank. And I'll probably also have all of the audiobooks just because I'm gonna be like, yes, I went and found all of these, but I was listening to the books at the same time.
Yeah.
But like I feel like I could go to like one thrift store and find all four. How many books are there?
I guess if we count the version that is Bella's a
Ooh.
man and Edward's a woman, there's 5, I think. Well, because then there's also that weird
There's the
interquel.
novella, right?
There's a Stephanie Tanner or the something the short life of someone the vampire girl. Yeah,
The novella, yeah.
yeah, the novella.
Stephanie
Yeah.
Tanner, Stephanie Meyer?
Stephanie. Oh, that's probably why I was thinking
Yeah.
Stephanie. I was like Stephanie Bree Tanner, something Tanner. Short story long, you can find them at a thrift store. I have seen almost all of them. Bree Turner. There we go. Okay, yeah, the short life. Yeah, short half life. Okay,
Yeah, that
me
one.
me and my friend made a huge mistake. Well, several mistakes that day, but
Several mistakes.
we booted up the first Twilight because we were bored that day and we had somewhere to be like in like 3 or 4 hours, and we were like, okay, we got time to watch this. What if we make a drinking game out of it? And I decided to make some rules. One of the rules, okay, so we had several things that we had to drink on. Bad idea. That we had to take shots on, and one of them was anytime Kristen Stewart had her mouth open. And
did you die? No.
We had to stop 30 minutes in.
Oh my god, that's beautiful.
Look, we had so many different things that we had to drink on, and then like my friend was like, doesn't this seem a little excessive? And I was like, no, like I don't like these points barely happen in the movie. And then no.
Damn. No, it was funny because like I definitely read all of them, loved them. I think they're a cultural phenomenon. Like they're so great. I watched the movie, the first one, and I was a freshman in high school, and I think age. And I immediately went, oh, this is bad. Oh no. And I proceeded to, out of stubbornness and just being a dick, refuse to watch any of the rest of them. But I would love to do like a drunk reaction to them.
Oh my god, wait, so you still haven't seen any of the other ones?
I've seen a whole bunch of like people reacting to them, so I know the movies. But like
Have
I've
you
never
seen The
actually,
Baby?
I've seen The Baby.
Okay,
like,
just want to make sure.
Yeah, no, I know what The Baby fucking looks like. Good God. That was another reason why I think I didn't watch them, because I was like, oh no. God. Yeah, Kristen Stewart, poor Kristen Stewart.
Like, I feel bad for Kristen Stewart because, like, she's proven in movies before and after Twilight that she can act. I think those movies just, and I want to say that, okay, since you've never seen any of the other movies, I will say that Twilight is probably the best out of all of them.
Well, that's the thing too, is that I think it's the truest to the story.
Like, it's the truest to the story, and like even like ignoring accuracy, which I mean it is very accurate. Like the directing is good, the writing is good, like the acting is good. Like I feel that it is like just overall like the best in the series.
Yeah.
And I feel like Kristen Stewart in that movie is pretty strong for the fact that I don't think Bella has much of a character. So what can she really do?
The reason why, like, I realized that it was shit, because in Twilight, I think the one thing that Stephanie Meyer does really fucking well is not letting you know that she's a bad writer. She does such a good job making you feel like you're Bella. That's
and
fucking talent.
And
the
that's
writing
the
itself
point.
is bad. But when I watched Twilight, I was like, oh, Bella is a lens for me to feel like I'm Bella. But you can't act out Bella because there's nothing there. It doesn't work.
And it doesn't even work as like trying to be like an insert or a lens like in a movie either. Because like
doesn't. It literally fails. You can't do it.
I think it could have like, well, okay, this would have been like a weirder version of the movie, but if they had
Yeah.
like decided to be like weird and like film it like first person point of view, still would have been
Would have been a horror movie, I'm pretty sure, but
oh,
like
definitely.
I'm into it.
But I think that would have been like just like even more in the spirit because then you truly probably would have felt like you were more like I guess like more of the book experience. I haven't read The Host. Was The Host good? Did you read The Host?
I didn't read The Host, but I read her spy novel and it was terrible. Can't even remember the fucking title.
Man, and that makes me sad because like the thing is that I have bad blood with the Twilight series. I love it for the fact that it did like I feel that that book is part of the reason why like we have like I think like the last 10 or something years like we have the highest literacy rates that we've had in the last 60 years and I 110% believe that Twilight is one of the main reasons. Like because it jump started a lot of people's like either like reading when they were young or it reignited a love that like people who were older like didn't but like the one thing I was kind of hoping with Stephenie Meyer, despite how much I the books, like I was hoping, okay, like as she goes on, obviously, like she'll develop, like her craft will grow, like because everyone when they start is more or less a bad writer, and it's just a matter of like their craft growing.
Yeah.
So that's sad. Yeah.
That's like I do feel like Twilight itself is just like so interesting. Like Harry Potter, I feel like has morphed into what we should have expected Harry Potter to morph into. J.K. Rowling isn't a good person. She, I think, sold her soul to the devil for those 7 books. May have just offended somebody. I'm so sorry. But like Stephenie Meyer is like, she has done nothing, right? Like she's done nothing since. She was like, okay, Midnight Sun got leaked. I can't fuck with y'all. I'm out. And then like
there's a whole thing with Midnight Sun that I want to go back to after this. There's a whole but okay, keep going on your thing.
Well, that was it's basically it because she literally was like, okay, you guys stole my book. I'm not fucking doing this anymore. I'm out. And like, what a queen! Like, you know what? You wrote your like kind of religious subtext vampire thing, and you made a fuck ton of money. And you just pieced out. Like, heck yeah. Now, I'm going to be really, really mad if she does this thing that Susan Collins is doing right now and comes back with something that needs to be addressed. But right now, Stephenie Meyer is my queen.
Okay. So, like, do you know about the, like, Midnight Sun conspiracy? Okay, so you know how like when Midnight Sun leaked, like obviously like she was like, okay, fuck y'all, like I'm leaving, like I'm out. Okay, so like Stephenie Meyer posted, I think it was like a blog post or something, and it was saying that each like version of Midnight Sun that she had sent out to people had like something in it to where she would know if like who leaked it and like all that different things. And a lot of people have spent their time like this was like obviously back in like the Twilight era and when like Midnight Sun leaked and everyone was like, okay, so how did this happen? And you know, Twitter investigations, although I guess before Twitter. And short story long, the internet truly believes.
Oh man, I'm sorry. Just like did Midnight Sun happen before Twitter existed? Because oh no.
Okay, Midnight Sun.
No.
Twitter was a thing, but it wasn't nearly as big as it was. I think this was when like
it's not like it is today. Okay.
It was like when Facebook and Tumblr were like at the height. Okay, I feel that though, because like you and I are only a year apart.
Yeah.
But the internet more or less came to the conclusion that the person who leaked Midnight Sun was Robert Pattinson because he didn't want to be in a remake.
That's the thing that I remember seeing an interview where she basically like jokingly accused him of it.
Yeah.
But I'm like, oh, like if it was gonna be a thing, she would have done it. Like nobody would have said no to the money. So something must have happened that made it impossible for her to publish that book. Like
I can see that too, yeah.
Yeah, like and I could totally see Robert Pattinson doing that because oh man, he hated being in that series. But like at the same time, at least he wasn't in 50 Shades of Grey. Like, let's be real, he got the better part of that stick.
That.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Okay, but the soundtracks for those series for Twilight and 50 Shades of
And
Grey
50 Shades
slap.
fucking
my
thought.
God. So good.
So,
So good.
like, absolutely rude that their soundtracks are just absolute classics, but they're all terrible.
Yeah.
And I also want to say that I don't know what it is about Washington State, but there are too many fan fiction movie franchises that have come out of that state. I don't know if you guys know, but After is set in Washington as well. And it doesn't make any sense. I also, when I was growing up, used to visit La Push and Forks on a regular basis. It's not an actual town. There's approximately 5 people that live there.
Ooh.
So the fact that it was like this whole thing is so funny to me because I'm like, I'm pretty sure Stephenie Meyer has never visited there or hadn't before she started writing the books.
See, I could see Stephenie Meyer like being like, hey, no one really lives in Forks, but it's a thing. Let me use it to make my own town so that way people can't be like, well, this isn't accurate. Because she could just be like, well, you don't really have a town, so how would you know?
True. I think she Googled like rainiest city in the country and just chose it.
Yeah.
She like, I love the fact that they actually shoot, like, I'm pretty sure, I think they were in Oregon, but like it looks like where I grew up or going to. Like, it's a very gorgeous area. I just like the fact that like this place that I went to became like once again a cultural phenomenon. Decode.
Yeah.
I'm gonna bump some Paramore. Oh, major rant. Well, not major, but like speaking of Paramore, has anybody listened to the Hayley Williams stuff? The new album?
Hayley Williams released something?
Yes.
I feel like I missed it. Oh my God.
It's definitely different. Like, I could get through the first song. Like, it's more alt rock than what she's been doing, but like it's different. Let me know if you like.
Is it still under Paramore or is it under Hayley Williams doing her own thing?
Yeah.
Okay. Because I know for a while she went and did her own thing and then she came back. And so now she's doing her own thing again.
Yeah, she's doing her own stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, because I know when Paramore dropped their like newest stuff, everyone was like, well, this isn't Paramore. Which
I don't get it. I'm like, they're I really enjoy their new stuff, but like,
yeah,
artists change. Just chill, I guess.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, because if an artist stays the same, then everyone's gonna be like, well, all their music sounds the same, like Nickelback.
Exactly. Like, I don't know. I feel like the only thing that I can kind of correlate is like Panic at the Disco. Like, Ranieri has been like, you know, he's got the older stuff that's definitely alt, but like now he's pop. Like,
Yeah.
Like, it's more on the jazzier alt side than what Paramore ended up doing. And it wasn't as a drastic, like, one genre to another genre. But I still think like a lot of artists do it. People are just like not accepting, and I don't get why. Like, if you don't like it, don't listen to it.
Yeah.
So I don't get it. Which people
like,
could probably say, like, why do you read books to rate review them? Because I'm fucking funny. That's why.
Exactly. Okay, so there's a lot of good discussions, obviously, that happened on Book Twitter. But one of the things that I think bothered me was when people were out there being like, I really don't think you should be making book reviews that are negative or negative content at all because blah, 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 blah. And I was like, okay, I understand where you're coming from with this. But if you don't like it, you don't have to watch it. Like, and like, there are people who like, not everything on the channel has to be positive. I'm more happy with when I read stuff that I like than stuff I don't like. But the shit that I don't like, the stuff you can do in videos like that, like, oh my God. Like, remember Black Witch?
Oh, no. Don't tell me to remember that. Oh, God. That book took me like 2 fucking weeks to read. And it's crazy because, like, I think like a good yearish later, my roommate was like, oh, like, was it really that bad? I'm like, do you want to have this conversation? Sit down. I'll go through my notes. And that was like the first book that, like, because like now if I own I like to own the Rain review book, so I don't somebody has to send me a Throne of Glass or something, because like I'll do the rant review, but I'm not buying that shit, and I'm not trying to do it from the library. It's not gonna happen. But like it was the first book that I got the arc, and I'd said, hey, I'm gonna do a fucking rant review. And somebody was like, oh, if you read it, you're racist. And I'm like, okay.
I
But
remember that. I remember that.
yeah, I was like, I'm so confused. But it was the first one that I just started just destroying with notes. Because like every single page I was like, bitch, what the fuck? And every time someone reads it and likes it, I'm just like, I don't understand. And like I'm pretty sure I recently got a comment on that video that was like, oh, it's fantasy, so it can't be racist. And I'm like,
Oh, there's a lot to
okay.
go in there.
Yeah. And like it's not as bad. Like I have a few videos where I get like diss or fucking tations on how I'm wrong and racist towards white men. But like the
Oh
Black
my
Witch itself, it was just a thing that happened, and it's just bad. And it got books. Nothing bad happened to the author.
Yeah.
Like if you read it, you read it, and I don't get it.
I remember that the Black Witch rant review, your Artemis rant review, and then I remember the people who like were trying to like get your video taken down. They were
People
like,
trying to get my video taken down?
give those comments. Like some of the guys were like, "We're gonna like
Oh,
go." Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Well, I'm pretty sure somehow that video got on Reddit or something. Because
Oh
like
yeah,
I'm
I
pretty
have
sure
no
that must
doubt.
have been what happened, because I haven't had any other video like that where it's just mass people being like, you're wrong and you have opinions and you shouldn't because you're a woman. And it was just like, okay, well, I didn't like it, and I don't see how anything you just pointed out proves me wrong. And it's interesting too, because like of course my video, I'm like I've got little space buns and I'm wearing black lipstick. But like probably in the same week, a white dude who made it his own rant review doesn't have any comments like that at all.
Yeah, of
Well,
course.
I mean, I'm sure he probably does now, but like I remember he commented on my channel. I don't even know if he's still doing it anymore. I might need to go look for him. He was cool. But he was like, yeah, I felt the same way. Like it was bad. I'm like, cool. Can you tell the buddies in the comments to chill the fuck out?
Well, because like, okay, I've uploaded rant reviews before too, and usually they haven't never been like videos that like blow up or like big books. But like, I've gotten some comments where like sometimes it's like, "Oh, I'm sorry you didn't like the book that much. It's my favorite book." Or I've gotten like ones that are like, "You don't know what you're talking about," and
Yeah.
that's all.
Yeah. No, I made a video recommending books to the haters on that video. And it definitely didn't get as much traction, but it was one of my favorite fucking things to film. Um, and that's why like I feel like every time I do another book review, I really want it to be like that many negative comments or that extent. But like I don't go out of my way to read things that I know, like because with Artemis, I think the reason that I was like I it was such a successful rant was I was so hyped for it.
Yeah,
I
because
thought
didn't
it
you
was
like The Martian?
Yeah, so he wrote The Martian and everyone was saying like, "Oh my god, it's so good," but I was like, "I'm not really interested in it, so I'm going to just skip it." And then Artemis was supposed to be about a heist on the moon, and I was like, "That sounds sick."
Okay, no, but heists were invited by Leigh Bardugo. Don't forget.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
So
And
okay,
I'm never going to do that again.
already.
But no, like it was just I remember I was sitting reading it, and like 30 pages in, the like for context, the Muslim main character living on the moon refers to a guy who is her kind of work bully dude. It's very much like boys hit you because they like you vibe. Who's white. She calls him a Nazi wet dream. And it's a compliment. Like 30 pages in. Yeah. And I will never forget this because I was sitting there reading the book and then I just flapped it down onto my knees and I was like, and my roommate looked at me like, you good? And I'm like, no, I'm not good. I'm going to pretend that didn't happen. And then it just gets worse and worse and worse and worse throughout the book. Like really bad. Thank you. I didn't like Ember in the Ashes either, but like that's the one rant review I have on my channel that I go back and forth privating. Like I kind of want to take it down, and then again, it's like I don't really get any hate comments on it, but like it wasn't my cup of tea. But like if I made a rant review for all the YA books that aren't my cup of tea, I would be making a video a day.
Also, people would be canceling you left and right.
I know. I would be a really mean adult being mean to the teenagers, even though adults write these books.
Yeah.
Like, thank you. But yeah, I'm gonna get more wine. Entertain the masses.
Oh, okay. Well, I guess I can tell everyone about what's something entertaining. Oh, well, okay. I guess I can give you all a little bit of trivia, I guess, on more or less how I met Maddie. So, years ago, when I first came across Maddie's channel, it was through a Suicide Squad tag. And this was right around the time that the movie was coming out. I don't think it had come out yet. And this was like at the like height of like book tags, not to say that book tags aren't still popular, because they are, but like I guess this is like when I like realized a lot of people were still doing them. And I was like, hey, I wonder if there's a Suicide Squad book tag. And so I ended up searching for it, and I found like Maddie's and someone else's, but I was like, ooh, okay, let me watch this. And so that was my first introduction to Maddie, and I was like, ooh, how perfect. And then
Are you talking about Suicide Squad?
Yeah, Suicide Squad.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, and that was like the way that I got introduced to you, through that book tag. And like, man, like I know I would have eventually come across your channel eventually, probably, especially with like some of the like ways that you went like viral and stuff. But like viral. The fact that okay, but you say that as if like your Artemis and the Black Witch book reviews did not like kind of blow up.
A little bit. Not like Read with Cindy or like Lily C. Reads, but like
okay, yeah.
But the funny part too is that like the video that has the most views now, I had no idea was gonna do that. It's my I'm pretty sure it's like why female characters are written terribly video has like 17K views now. And it just snuck out of nowhere. I was like, why would you do that? I was like, no, you're not a rent review. What are you doing?
I guess it's because obviously in the last few years, like video essays have always been popular, but video essays have really like gained traction, and a lot of people also like watching the stuff that's like crafting characters and how not to craft a character. So I'm not surprised that like.
And that's the thing too, is that it's also my blend of video essay, and I want to do more of that. But no, going back to the Suicide Squad thing, I think it's quite funny that the first time that we're doing a live show, I'm gonna go see Birds of Prey tonight.
Oh my god, are you? Oh my god. Okay, so you haven't seen it yet.
I haven't seen it yet. I'm so excited.
So excited to know what you think.
I'm like, I don't know, like people were talking about, I think, they were posing the question of like, why didn't people go see it the opening weekend? And I don't like going to movies on the opening weekend because I don't like people.
A lot of people don't.
Yeah. And I feel like the other thing is I was waiting for the reviews because I was like, it's DC. Are they going to fuck it up? But like, it doesn't sound like they did.
DC.
So, yeah.
Well, because like, okay, so this is something that I brought up, like when I was talking about it on Twitter, about like why I felt part of the reason Birds of Prey had the numbers that they did. And it's because the one thing I feel DC has over Marvel is that every one of their movies very much feels like a director's creative vision. True. Whether or not it worked.
Also true.
Like, but every single one of the movies has felt like a director's creative vision, with the exception of Justice League, where it's like a mashup of two directors. And that's a movie. But like all of them,
watch that.
No, it's okay. I went to like my expensive theater in town. Okay, do you know the Alamo Drafthouse? Have you heard about that one? Because I think it's just in Texas. Okay, yeah. So I went there to go see Justice League. We'll say I was happy because I love their food, so that made it worth it. But like I went there specifically to go see it. Tickets are more there. The food is expensive, but expensive for movie theater food, but actually good. Yeah. But God, that movie. But okay, so like that movie, bad. But and a few other ones. But anyway, like all the other ones outside of Justice League have all had a vision. Mm-hmm. And I would say like about like 70% of the like MCU movies are good.
The same thing.
Like they're all the same thing. Like with the exception of like Guardians of the Galaxy.
Too. Like I would say that like Deadpool's Marvel, right?
Deadpool is Marvel, but it was Fox Marvel.
Yeah, exactly. So like
Yeah.
I'm gonna take Deadpool and put it aside because it is my favorite superhero movie. And I always like to include it because reasons. But Marvel itself, like I remember I was talking about Endgame because I was like, I'll see it eventually. Like I have wasted so much of my life on Marvel in the first place. I might as well see how this ends. But I went to go see Captain Marvel and I came out of it like, okay, well, they did it, I guess. like, I love the fact that they did it, obviously,
Yeah.
but it's a Marvel movie.
And it feels very much like a Marvel movie. Like
Yeah. You know what you're gonna get from
I want
expecting the
more.
lines.
Yeah. Like I want more from the series. I especially want more in Captain Marvel too. But like, and I absolutely like was very entertained by that movie. I saw that movie 5 times. That does
Mhm.
not at all mean like, oh my god, it was like one of my like favorite movies. Well, okay, it was one of my favorite movies of the year, but like not that
One
it
of
was
your
like one of the
favorites.
best. Like
Mhm.
I definitely have a lot of favorites of things that I'm like, okay, for example, I have really come to like some of the like chicken from KFC recently. It is not good, but oh my god, it slaps.
Uh-huh.
And so
Mhm.
like that, I feel like that's a good example, like something that is a favorite of yours, but it's not exactly like high quality. And that's how I felt about
Oh yeah.
Captain Marvel. Huge favorite of mine. Think Brie Larson
Um,
does a really great job, but it feels like a Marvel movie.
yeah. And that's the thing is that like I feel like you couldn't have a Wonder Woman
Yeah,
with Marvel because they resisted so hard from doing anything different. They found a formula that works and they're going to keep doing it. My
yeah,
only hope with Marvel is that they break out of that and allow themselves to fail
yeah,
because when they do break out of the mold, like Black Panther, Guardians of the Galaxy, they
yeah,
make so much money. And with DC, it's like they keep kind of waffling on like, what are we going to do? Are we going to do this? Are we going to do that? And I just hope that they at some point find a cohesion
yeah.
because like I'm tired of hearing about Joker. um,
Okay, I finally
I
watched that last night.
don't want to watch it. Like,
I think it is good. I think it's well made. I think
mhm.
Joaquin Phoenix did deserve the Oscar because I mean, it's Joaquin Phoenix. He's always a good actor. It does not
Yeah,
matter how good or bad the script is. But overall, I give it like a 3 out of 5. It just feels very surface level. Like, I feel like if it had come out 10 years ago, I would have been like, oh my God, this was like, oh my God, they did this with the
that's the
DC
thing
movie?
too, because I'm like, I feel like it's kind of like them trying to retroactively get Heath Ledger's energy back.
Yeah.
And they're like, let's do that, but like not a sexy young actor. Let's who at this point has never played a villain. Let's just try and capture that kind of mentality and like sell it to incels, basically. And I don't know. I'm just like, okay. I feel like I probably be into it when, like you said, 10 years ago. I would have
Yeah.
been all up on that shit, but I
Yeah.
don't care. um,
I think the score is fantastic. Like if you never watch it, which I would never, I can't even like be like, oh, I'd recommend it. Like it's just a
yeah,
middle of the road movie, but the score I think is very worth listening to.
that
Like
makes sense.
they won an Oscar for the score, so I was like, okay, like I can see why.
Yeah. Yeah, no, there has not been a Joker like Heath Ledger ever.
Are you telling me? Are you telling me? Are you going to sit there and look at me and tell me that you did not find Jared Leto's Joker to be just cream of the crop?
No. Yeah, I like to pretend that didn't happen. Which
I
at the
think
same time, it could have been good. Like it could have been a good movie if we're gonna talk about Suicide Squad.
let's talk a little bit about Suicide Squad.
But and I think that's the thing too, is that like I remember being like so excited for it because I was like, this is the first time Harley Quinn has been
Yeah,
in a live action role. Like I need this to be good. And then I enjoyed it, but I would definitely say that it's not a good movie. Like
yeah,
it on like just watching it of the one time that I think I've watched it, it just feels like two movies on top of each other. And it just was so messy. So messy. And that's like the one thing with DC. It's like it's just messy. Like,
yeah.
why is it so messy? I don't get it.
Well, like I know with Suicide Squad, because of the reaction that people had from Batman v Superman, there's allegedly like 5 cuts of Suicide Squad because
Oh,
they
sure.
kept changing it, which I'm not
Yeah.
surprised about because like even Jared Leto was like, I had a whole hour worth of like scenes and none of them are in the movie, which I fully believe. I
Oh yeah,
fully believe that.
I'm dead positive he pissed off somebody and he just got removed from the movie.
Yeah. And like I feel like the Suicide Squad that we got was DC course correcting.
Yeah.
I don't think they course corrected in the best way, but I think it was
Well,
them
it's
trying to
kind of
course
like
correct.
they course corrected off the track and then rolled a bunch of times
Hmm.
and then blew up.
Yeah.
And Margot Robbie and Will Smith are the only one that made it out alive.
I'm kind of sad that like apparently the new Suicide Squad isn't gonna have Will Smith's Deadshot. I'm like, man, like, but he was like one of the good things of the like old like of the original.
Yeah. Is
Like,
Margot Robbie signed up for that?
yeah, she signed up for it, and then James Gunn recently revealed that she's gonna be a major part of it. So I'm like, okay, that's good. I
Yeah.
thought maybe they were just gonna have her for a cameo, but apparently she's actually gonna be like a major part.
Yeah. No, she seems like she's got her fucking like teeth into that character. I'm like,
Yeah.
good for her. Like, damn. Like the one thing I can say is that I was like, I just wanted her to be good in Suicide Squad, and she was.
Mhm.
She was fantastic. And I
Yeah.
love the fact that she like went to bat for Birds of Prey. And I'm
Yeah.
like, awesome. That's like the thing that I do think that kind of like you were talking about. Like she had a vision and she was gonna make it happen.
Yeah.
And nobody else seems to like have that kind of control creatively in Hollywood. And I'm like, good for her. Like she's young and fucking killing it.
Yeah.
So good for her.
And I'm glad that she has like a because I'm sure if she didn't have nearly the like presence that she got from like awards and like nominations, I don't think they would have given her that much control. But because of
Yeah.
how much she has done, I'm pretty sure
Well,
they were like, okay, go ahead.
I also think that also soundtrack really fucking good.
Yes.
Like I've been just listening to that shit on repeat. Um, but I also think that they didn't really risk a lot because the budget was so low. And I don't know, like I just think that they did interesting things, I think, with Suicide Squad and then morphing to Birds of Prey.
Yeah.
Like I feel like Birds of Prey, I wouldn't necessarily say it was set up to fail, but like it definitely didn't have the shot that Suicide Squad was given because of Suicide Squad being so bad. Like, and I
Yeah.
don't feel like any marketing team, especially with DC, did anything to counteract that.
Yeah.
But I don't think that Birds of Prey is gonna actually be hurt from it since it had such a low budget. So
Yeah. I honestly feel like the reputation that DC garnered from its first like couple of years of movies plus Suicide Squad like really hurt Birds of Prey. And then I think what helped like some of the other movies, like obviously Wonder Woman did fantastically, but that's because again, like even though people disliked Batman versus Superman for the most part, people were like, "Oh, but Wonder Woman was good," so of course they were going to go see a movie. But
yeah,
like I think like Aquaman and Shazam benefited from the fact that they were like new. Like obviously
yeah.
Shazam was new, but like Aquaman was like new, whereas Birds of Prey is kind of a sequel, and people were like, "Do I want to see that?"
Yeah, and I think that's the thing too is that they were definitely leaning in on at least in the trailers and stuff about how it was Harley having broken up with the Joker, even though we don't
Yeah,
see that, which is great. I'm pretty sure. Um, um, but they don't. I don't feel like they did a really good job of building up the Birds of Prey as characters in the trailers because like, I'm going in with no concept of anything. Like
yeah,
that's what I want to do, which is just in general like it's a superhero movie. I'm not gonna really care. But I just think that it's interesting the way that they went about it because it could have been like a Guardians of the Galaxy comparatively to Suicide Squad being like Suicide Squad.
yeah,
Like, I can't really explain it. It's just a catastrophe. And that's the one thing too is that I feel like they were trying to get Guardians with Suicide Squad. But
yeah,
the way that they tried to make their script work with all the reshoots just didn't work.
yeah,
And I'm really hoping that, like, because my one thing is character development, that they don't have that kind of problem with the Birds of Prey and the other characters. But
Yeah.
from what I can tell, it doesn't look like it. So I don't want
Like,
to.
I feel like one of the things DC does consistently get right, character development, not always, but they at least always have engaging villains.
True.
And that's something that I feel like, well, I feel like the villain of Wonder Woman is. But all the other villains I felt engaging.
Well, I would say that with Wonder Woman, though, considering the storyline, it's not excessively important who
Yeah,
the villain is. Like,
exactly.
not trying to spoil it for anybody who hasn't seen it, but also if you haven't seen it, what the fuck is wrong with you? Um, but like, I liked that movie specifically because it did something I wasn't expecting with the villain,
Mhm.
obviously. But at the end of the movie, it's not the villain that's the importance. It's what's going on in her own mind, basically.
Yeah.
I'm excited for that sequel.
I was trying to avoid Wonder Woman 84 trailers because before I saw Wonder Woman, I didn't see any trailers. I was just like, I'm just gonna go watch it.
Yeah,
Unfortunately, I saw a trailer.
I think I've seen a little bit. I just know I'm gonna go see it. Like, also
excited.
Black Widow's coming out this year, right?
Black
That's
Widow's
happening?
coming out this year. Okay, so like
Fuck.
on the one hand, I'm like, man, they should have made this movie years ago. But on the other hand, I will admit, like, despite Scarlett Johansson trying her hardest, I am excited for this movie.
I was dead positive I wasn't gonna go see it. And then the chick from all the movies I haven't seen yet,
Florence Pugh.
that one.
Yes.
Who I really need to catch up on. Like, she's in it. I don't really care. I don't know if I'll go see it in the theaters. I'll probably see it in the theaters. It's a fucking Marvel movie. I'm fucking trash. But no, like, I keep forgetting that that's happening. Like,
Yeah.
I also feel like for it being the Black Widow movie, we were all like, where is this? And then 10 years later, they're like, here it is. Hope you want this still.
And it's kind of late. Like they really should have, like, because this movie takes place after Civil War, they really should have just like done their hardest to make sure it came out after Civil War. Like, I feel like that would have been prime Black Widow era, and now it's like, I guess we'll see it. It's a Marvel movie. Like, I feel like that's going to be like the main audience reaction.
I just think it's kind of just weird because it's like, is this going to be integral to the storyline considering what Endgame did? Like, what are we getting information-wise with this movie?
I've heard a little bit of things that, I mean, okay, like, I will fully say, like, everything I've heard has been like rumor stuff, and a lot of that times, like, that stuff isn't true.
Yeah.
But, like, some of the rumors that I've heard, I could see how it is important to later developments, but at the same time, I'm like fully believing it's just bullshit.
Yeah, I can see that. I just know that I'm like super fucking excited for the next Thor.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I loved Thor from the beginning. Favorite superhero in the Avengers, and now people are giving him the respect that he deserves. And Valkyrie is amazing.
I feel like a Thor: The Dark World didn't help anything. That is
no,
the only.
Dark World kind of fucking sucks. I will be the first to say the Dark World sucked.
Although, like, as much as I don't like Thor: The Dark World, Thor is still good in it. Like,
true.
It is a really good Thor and Loki show. It's just I feel like everything else about it is
bad.
Yeah, I'm glad. I did not think Natalie Portman was going to come back. I did not think they would be able, no matter what money. I did not think that they were ever going to get her to agree to come back.
But let's be real. She saw Ragnarok. She met Taika.
Yeah.
And immediately was like, yes, give me that fucking hammer. Like,
Yeah.
Let's be fucking real. Like, I don't even think it's the money for her. She's probably like, she's got enough money.
It's Taika. It's Taika.
It's Taika. Like, think about it. Like, and of course, I'm sure Chris Hemsworth was like, I'm fucking done with this bullshit. And then he did Ragnarok.
Yeah.
And he's like, no, I'll stay. This is fun. This is great. I get to be funny. What?
I get to do more than just be stern?
I took my shirt off. Is that all you want me to do? Which is really interesting too, because I feel like a lot of those, I feel like we've talked a lot about movies too, which is totally fine with me, but which makes a lot of sense considering our friendship.
Yeah.
But like, I feel like those characters were typecasted so well, but at the same time, watching Chris Evans tell people to eat shit It's my kink. Like, so good. And he emoted. Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It was the first time that, like, I honestly felt emotion for, like, the character. Like, I had felt things for Thor in the series, but I feel like Taika Waititi really just managed to do funny Thor and also sad, depressed Thor really well all at the
Yeah,
same time.
exactly. Well, and I think it was just a really good step in the right direction, which is really funny too because my younger brother hates it. He saw
Really?
it like on a day that he was having a really shit day. He was like falling asleep, and now it's one of those movies that he just loves to hate, and he knows that if he watches it again, he'll love it. So he doesn't want to watch. It's my family is weird. It's why I do rant reviews, guys. Am I ever going to reread any of those books? No. I like hating them. Yeah, I definitely feel like Thor is one of those characters that they're like, we don't know what to do with you, so we're gonna just kind of shit on you for no reason. Like in Civil War, how he's just not there.
Yeah.
Like they were like, well, he's busy doing other things.
I definitely think like if they had him there, they would have had to have had someone else present to
Exactly.
balance. Because like, who would have actually been able to be? Because okay,
True.
if Thor had been on Cap's side, like Thor probably could have just been like, "All right, y'all get to the plane. I'll handle all this." Or if he had been on Tony's side, he would have just been like, "All right, Tony, I'll like handle it, distract
I
them, and
would
you have
have
to do the
really
rest of them."
liked to have seen like there could have been like a device that like deactivated his powers or something. Some like stupid fucking Marvel.
I really like they
Like,
could have come up with something. They could have.
yeah, they could have, but like I really wanted him to be like, or revisioning this, like him not being on anybody's side because he doesn't understand. He's just like,
Yeah.
"But I don't know why we're fighting. Stop." And then like somebody just like pokes a button on something and he just doesn't have powers, so he has to sit this one out.
Yep.
But like even if he did have to sit it out, he's like buff as shit, so probably could have just punched both of them and told them to sit down.
Yeah. They could have had him like depowered, but he
Yeah.
still has like the traditional, I guess, just like Asgardian strength, and he's just like, "What are y'all doing?"
Like what the fuck? I also think it's interesting too because like I remember watching Civil War and enjoying it, but I watched it several months after it came out, maybe even a year later. People were like, "Oh my god, it's so great!" But like the plot line of the movie itself makes me so mad because I don't really believe the actual conflict. Hopefully, there's Marvel fans in the chat. Since there's a few of you here, I'm assuming there are. But yeah.
Well, like, okay, so if we're gonna talk Marvel and like especially like the Civil War conflict, I just want to say that I feel like 70% of the villains in the movies have all been created by Tony Stark. So I think it's ironic that in Civil War, Tony Stark is the one who's like, we all need to be put in check. And like, this is why they created the Sokovia Accords. And in the back of my head, I'm like, no, they created the Sokovia Accords to put you in check. You specifically.
That's what I think too, is that he acts like really out of character in that movie. Like I feel like Chris Evans and like his buddy are like they're true to themselves, but like especially Iron Man does not make sense in that particular movie. But it's a fucking Marvel movie, so they can just have their actors say what they want them to say, and that's it. Like you just have to run with it. Like all of the whole like, oh, Captain Marvel has this friend back at home, and we're gonna have long conversations about how they love each other, but they're not together.
No homo.
No homo.
They're just friends.
They're just friends, and they totally don't have a daughter together.
5 feet apart because they're not gay.
Because they're not gay.
I feel like that was a huge miss. Like, and like, okay. So if we're gonna talk about like the lack of like queer rep in Marvel, I have seen so many things that are like, well, it won't sell well in China, and I feel like that's like 5% of why they don't do it. But at the end of the day, I truly just feel like it's because like the CEOs and I'm sure there are creators who do. Like, obviously, Taika wanted to, Ryan Coogler wanted to. Like, they had stuff that was filmed that just got cut.
Yeah.
But I think at the end of the day, it's just that they're just like, no. Like, even, okay, they revealed recently that the Eternals is supposed to have some queers. I'll believe it when I see it. Like,
yeah, but like also, I'm not sorry, Disney Plus doesn't count.
Disney Plus
Like,
doesn't count.
unless you put it in a movie with a fucking confirmed character in one of those blockbusters, it doesn't count. Like, Disney can do whatever they want on their little show.
Yeah.
Shit, I'm not paying for it unless I'm not paying for it. It's just not happening. I will steal somebody's codes. Like, no, I'm not giving Disney my money when I know that I will go see their fucking movies. And like, I kind of agree with you. I'm like, okay, but China knows that gay people exist.
Yeah.
Like, come on.
And like the only thing it does over there is it just like bumps the rating up. And I'm pretty sure that's not going to hurt their box office that much.
No, not at all. Fucking Birds of Prey is rated R, which I just found out recently. Makes me even more excited.
I forgot that it was rated R. So when I was watching it, I was like, wow, they're really going ham for a PG-13 rating. Okay, that's cool. And then like I walked out of that and I saw the poster and it said rated R and I was like, oh, that makes a lot of sense now. Like I completely forgot. I just straight up forgot.
Yeah. That's the thing. I did see that Valkyrie is confirmed queer.
Yeah.
But unless she gets a girlfriend, I'm not believing it.
Yeah, because like they can confirm, and not to say that every queer story always needs to end with a happily ever after or a love interest, but my thing is with big companies attempting queer rep, if it's just someone being like, oh yeah, I'm queer, and then that's it, like we don't see anything on screen, but then we see like the hets on screen, like then I'm like,
yeah, yeah, no thanks, I'm good. I'm pretty sure they did confirm that Harley will potentially have a girlfriend in the next movie.
I don't want to say anything. You're gonna see Birds of Prey tonight, so I don't want to say anything.
Okay, I won't say. Okay. True. I mean, I remember when The Hangover came out, I was 15, something like that. And one of my history teachers had like another history teacher in the class. I don't remember what we were working on, but they were like, hey, how many people have seen The Hangover? And like most of the class was like, yeah. And one of the teachers was like, no one in this room is 18. How have you all seen it? But like that's obviously a little different than a superhero movie.
Yeah.
So I can say that I saw The Hangover at least once in the cheap seats with it was Kick-Ass. It was Kick-Ass. The entire movie theater was either really fucking high or drunk off their ass. Because they were cheering, they were clapping. It was probably one of the best watching experiences I've ever had because the entire movie theater was lit as fuck. And it was amazing. And of course, I was a teenager and I'm like, what's going on? People are having a lot of fun. I'm going to clap too.
Yeah, okay, so that's something I wanted to remark on when it came to like R-rated superhero films. People like took their kids to see Deadpool, and okay, so like at 4 years old, my parents had me watching stuff because we only had one TV in the house. So like I grew up already kind of being exposed to stuff, and again, it's just about like parent comfort level, kid comfort level, having conversations with your kid. And I don't think that there's anything wrong with taking your kid to see Deadpool. I think it's when it's like just being clueless and thinking because something's superhero related, it's gonna be appropriate to take your kid. Because like I saw people who were like, I took my 4-year-old to go see this movie and they were scarred and all these things happened. I was like, well, like, bro, also it's like rated R. Like do some research. Like, would you take your kid to see The Departed?
I think there was what fucking movie was it? There were signs up on the movie theater that I went to recently. I can't remember what it was. There was some sort of sign about some kids movie that they were giving out. Like it was kind of like how The Incredibles had like that strobe effect, and they didn't tell people. It was
Yeah.
like that, but I don't think it was that exact movie. But like people were like not made aware that there was that strobe effect in the movie ahead of time. So the movie theaters have to make sure that they're telling their audience like, don't bring somebody in here who has like epilepsy, like because it's gonna be bad. Like
Yeah.
I don't know.
Was it
Like,
Into the Spider-Verse? Because Into the Spider-Verse has a segment kind of like that.
I don't know. I don't remember.
But I think I know. I think I have a. Yeah, because there was something else that it released alongside or around the same time as The Incredibles that had something like that.
Yeah. I know that when I watched The Incredibles, I was like, wow, they didn't put like some sort of warning ahead of time. Like, Jesus.
See, that's the main reason I didn't go in theaters to see it, and I still technically haven't. I have never had like any like I've never had a seizure or anything like that, but there is a history of it in my family.
Oh,
So
shit.
I was like, I don't want to chance it.
Good call. Good
So I
call.
was like, okay, you know what? I love Brad Bird. I loved Incredibles 1. As sad as it makes me to like not see it in theaters, I enjoy living.
True. Absolutely. Did you end up just skipping the scene? Have you seen it?
Well, I still haven't seen it, and that's just now on the fact that I just haven't watched it.
True.
So that's
I
on
mean,
me
at this,
now.
like, the one thing I can say, like, I kind of get like with Spider-Verse, it would be a little hard because there's multiple scenes that could probably do that.
Yeah,
Whereas with Incredibles 2, it's literally just one scene and you could skip it.
yeah.
It's not even an important scene. Like, you can just fast forward and then get to the end. And like, the one thing I can say is like, for someone with anxiety, the scene itself is like a lot for a kid's movie.
Wow.
Yeah, it's intense. Because I remember being like, oh, like I could see why this would cause a problem very quickly because like I wouldn't necessarily say that it's as intense, but it gave me a similar feeling to a Game of Thrones battle scene. Like it's that kind of anxiety level. Yeah. But obviously at the same time, it's like a kid might not know that and not feel that same to me, but like the scene itself, if I don't know if anybody knows the scene that I'm talking about, but so it's the scene where the mom is running away and there's a whole bunch of flashing lights. So a guy is chasing her and there's just these intense flashing lights and I think she's feeling the effects of a drug or something. I don't know. It's just like really intense. Yeah. I was excited for its release. Well, I have a few that I'm really excited. I'm really excited for because RC's coming in clutch right now.
Okay. So do you want to talk about yours first?
Which ones?
I mean, like yours, but then also the ones that are going to be arriving, I guess.
Yes. Well, I don't know if I want to say it just yet.
Do you want to leave it as a surprise for later?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, like, do you want to talk about the ones that aren't those ones?
What other ones are there? What's coming out this year?
Gosh, I'm trying to think. Okay. I know I'm definitely excited for the sequel to Wicked Fox. I enjoyed 2/3 of Wicked Fox. I enjoyed 2/3 of Wicked Fox.
There's another one?
There's another one. This is a sequel.
Oh my god, is there a cover?
I don't think there's been a
Wicked
cover reveal
Fox.
yet. Okay, so I gave that like a 4.5 out of 5 stars. I think the third act kind of fumbles a bit, but I think the first
it does.
2/3 are so strong
They're so
that
good.
like I just was super willing to forgive it. I was like, I don't even care that the like final like third feels a little rocky.
Yeah.
I loved it so much. So I was like, okay, I'm excited for book 2.
That's kind of what I felt like about Docile. Like it definitely feels like it has a disjointment in the middle. Like it's definitely one story, second story. But I wouldn't say that that necessarily caused an issue with my reading experience. It was just more that I was just like, harder to follow along in the second part, but what can you do? But cool. I'm so excited. Like I had no idea that there's a sequel.
I think the title did get revealed. I can't remember what it's called, but I think it's something Dokebi or because I think it's still following all the main characters, but I don't know if there's a point of view change. But it's something about the Dokebi Dokubai. So I'm excited for that. I'm excited to see if Winds of Winter drops this year.
Really? Is that supposed to happen?
No, but I at the same time, I also wouldn't be surprised if they're like, surprise, we're releasing it in 3 months. So,
True.
like, I'm
I
excited
mean,
to see if that
I have
gets
a
a release
feeling
date.
that's gonna have to happen at some point.
It has
Like,
to at this point. Like, I'm sure, like, the publisher has to be like, you realize, like, you have to put it out.
yeah. Or he could just die. And then
Yeah.
Stephen King or Patrick Rothfuss will have it out and like, well, not Patrick Rothfuss, Brandon Sanderson will write
Yeah, I was
it, and
about to say, like, they're
then
gonna
I won't
call
be
the
able
one
to
who
read it. God damn it.
the one who they have come in and finish everyone's series,
Yeah,
Brandon Sanderson.
Brandon Sanderson.
Okay, but like,
Yeah.
I would be interested in seeing an N.K. Jemisin like Game of Thrones.
Oh, okay. I just finished the Obelisk Gate. I don't know if I could handle an N.K. Jemisin. Damn. I feel like I would just be sobbing the entire time. I'm like living for that. Like I just picked up the last book and I'm like, oh, it's so good. If you haven't read the 5th season, fucking get on that shit right now. I'm so excited.
What
I'm
other
excited for Chain of Gold.
Chain of Gold? There's
Um,
what other 2020 releases are there?
I'm pretty sure Empire of Gold is the end of the City of Brass. I don't know if Empire of Gold has a release date. I'm assuming it does. I want that fucking arc. I have put blood, sweat, and tears in getting people to read City of Brass. I deserve the arc. I'm pretty sure the 3rd book of the Poppy War comes out this year.
Yeah, that does come out this year.
Yeah.
I have not started that series yet, but I love the author. I follow her on Twitter,
She's
and
fantastic. And she's like 22.
yeah,
It makes me so mad. Oh shit. Okay, so Empire of Gold, at least the UK edition, says it's coming out in June, which is
Okay.
way sooner than anticipated. Yeah, June. Shit.
Does that mean the US is getting it at the same time then?
Who knows? Who knows?
There is okay, I know nothing about this book, but I saw the cover reveal on Twitter that Cinderella is dead.
Yeah.
But the cover,
Yeah.
okay, the
I've
American
seen
cover is
multiple
pretty.
covers too, and I'm like, I don't know which one's which, but I love them and I'm interested.
I saw
Highly interested.
Like I saw the American cover and I was like, "Oh, this is pretty. Like I'm interested." And then the UK cover is the one I feel is more superior.
Mhm.
The UK cover has like I guess like a closer in on her and like it has better font. But like that one I was
Yeah.
like, "Oh." But
Yeah.
that one, I know nothing about it, but I am excited for that.
I mean, Cinderella is dead. That's catchy enough. I'm in. Sign me the fuck up. And also Black Cinderella? Hell yeah.
Yes.
Hell fucking yeah. Rhythm of War. Yeah, like I feel like this year I started waffling on my whole I don't read Brandon Sanderson thing, but I'm still kind of like, nah, kind of can't support somebody who kind of doesn't believe that I should exist.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Like
Empire of the Vampire got pushed.
I hate Brandon Sanderson for having to like
Be
I
good.
wish he would have just like I wish he would have just been quiet because
Yeah.
like Ender's Game I read that and I fucking loved that book and then I found out who Orson Scott Card
Oh
was.
yeah, I was like, not the same author, but got it. Cool.
No. And I
Oh,
found
yep.
out who Orson Scott Card was and I was like, God damn it. And then Brandon Sanderson, I read Mistborn
Mhm.
and loved it. Did not continue with the series, but I
Yeah.
was like, oh my god, like this was fantastic. I'm so excited. I bought like The Way of Kings because I also heard good things about it. And then Brandon Sanderson opened his mouth and I was like, God
Yeah.
damn it.
I mean, that's the one thing too, is that it's like it's hard for me at this stage because I know I'd probably like Mistborn. So many people that I trust love it, and I know that if I read it, I'm gonna want to read everything else he's written.
Yeah.
But I know that he also has included characters that are on the LGBT spectrum, etc.
Yeah.
And I just like feel like if you haven't come out and said like I understand now why what I said does not like is not okay and I'm sorry and I am trying to work on it. If you haven't said that specifically, because I am pretty sure that has not happened, I can't trust your representation in your books.
Yeah.
And like, even if it's a good writer, like you're not coming from a place of authenticity and I don't want to support that.
Yeah.
So like there's other things that I feel like people have been canceled for over the last year. And like the fucking Twitter bullshit. Like an author can't even say like, "Hey, I ship this," and it's like fake and it's fictionalized without people coming for them. And I'm just like, but someone can say, "Hey, I correlate gay people with the urge to cheat on your spouse.
Yeah.
Like you should suppress it." Like that to me is like, no. Like bear in mind though, like obviously everyone has different backgrounds and he is of one that's much more religious than I am. But at the same time, I don't want to put my time and my money into something that I don't want to support. So,
Yeah.
It's hard. That's the thing. Twitter can be exceptionally toxic.
Yeah.
It's interesting too, because I feel like people are like, they'll disappear and be like, I had to take a break. And there's times where I'm like, maybe I should step back. And I'll be like, nah, I'm just gonna continue to live in this hellhole.
Yeah, there are times where I'm on there and I'm like, this feels like a lot. And then like, okay, so I also I listened to the podcast Ride or Die, which is from Cat Show and Claribel Ortega. And they've talked about like how they have had to take multiple breaks from Twitter just because of like how it is. And I'm like, maybe at some point I should probably do that.
I mean,
Because like
what I do is I unfollow and mute.
Yeah.
Like pretty regularly. And like if it gets like to the point, I'll block. Like I don't have any issue just being like, I don't like you on my timeline. Bye-bye. Like
I have muted things because of that. Like I have a lot of things muted.
Yeah. I don't know. Oh, yeah. I remember seeing that Grady Hendrix. Fucking legend. I'm so excited for that.
Ooh, wait. The Southern Book
Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires.
Okay, why do I know the name Grady Hendrix? Because I definitely haven't read anything.
It's right next to me, I'm pretty sure. It's the guy that did the IKEA horror store.
Oh, Horror Store!
Yeah, Horror Store. My Best Friend's Exorcism. That's the one that I've read. Super fucking good.
Okay, like, that's right. Okay.
It was like, ooh, you know what I could do? I could reread The Merciless. Sorry, coming up with content. Hated that fucking book. Hated that book so much. But My Best Friend's Exorcism was like actually what that Merciless was trying to do. But did anybody remember those books? God damn. That is literally, it made the shit tier. Like that is the shit tier. Oh, there was so many of them too. And people like, I remember when I worked at Barnes, there was a girl, like a teenager buying it. And she's like, the cover's so pretty. I was like, it is pretty. I will let you know it's disgusting. Like if you don't like gore porn, you're not gonna like this. It doesn't get any better either. It just gets worse. At no point does it make any sense. And you get to the end and you're like really mad that you wasted 300 pages of your life.
Did I ever talk to you about that book, Once and Future?
Yes. Well, we've talked about it on Twitter, obviously.
Okay.
Because I didn't finish it. Did you finish it?
Oh, so that book took me forever. I had to finish it. Like I rarely ever finish things that I am not enjoying, but I felt compelled.
I think I remember you talking about it. Yeah. And like you made a review, right?
I made a review. that was a really fun video to make. It wasn't even like it wasn't even one of my saltiest. It's just like it was just such a fun video. But like
I think that's the thing too with that book specifically, because it was like it had so many buzzwords for it. King Arthur retelling, gender bent, queer, diverse, all of this shit in space.
Yeah.
Like so many cool things. And then I read it and I was like, or read half of it, let's be real, like not even 50% of the way through, but I was like, everyone's fucking. Can we have some plot, please? Can I have some character development, please?
The thing that bothers me so much about it is like the beginning has like a decent amount of plot. Like even then, like there are parts where I'm like, this is a little dicey, but okay, let's continue seeing where this goes. And then there's just like okay, so the main character at one point is like, oh, I fucking hate this other character. I hope I don't have to see her. And in the very next chapter, it's like, did I say hate? What I meant was, actually, I want to bone her. And I was just like, what?
Yeah.
What?
It's like, huh?
But
Yeah,
that,
I remember that too, because it's like the Guinevere character, and she's like, I really don't like this person. And then, like, not even a chapter break, like a page break. They're like,
That's
oh, by
right.
the way, we had sex 5 times. Like, I was like, no, okay. You don't get to do that. That makes no sense.
See, like, I think I would have been like I would have made more sense if it were an enemies to lovers, but it's not even like enemies to lovers. It isn't even really even enemies.
No,
It's
it's like,
just
it's exes that just fuck from time to time.
yeah.
Like, they didn't have like a bad breakup. They just kind of don't like each other all that much. But I don't know. Like, it's weird because they obviously still have feelings, but like, I don't know. It was just weird. It was just excessively, could have been so much better.
Like a lot of it, it's just either people boning or talking about how horny they are,
So much
or
horniness. Like, damn.
like, and it just bothers me so much because like the parts that are legitimate plot. Okay, so there's a part where the main character gets taken away from everyone else.
Mhm.
Strongest part of the book because there's no one there for her to
For
be
her to
like, oh, I'm
interact
strong.
with, yeah.
Well, there's Morgana, but like other than that, and that was, I think that was really interesting. I think Morgana was a really good part of that book just because she was the only one who like didn't want to bone everyone in the room.
Exactly. And like the thing too is that like the main character too, or like it's a, because it's dual perspective, right? With the fucking Gandalf, that's the wrong name. Merlin.
Yeah, dual perspective. I want to say at some point I think it was multiple perspectives, but I could be wrong.
Yeah.
Definitely the Merlin person had a perspective.
But he was interesting in the beginning. And then all
Yes.
of a sudden he gets put in a teenage body and he can't think. And I'm like, okay, but like if you've lived numerous lives at this point, wouldn't you be able to realize what's going on and maybe not be able to control your body, but like control how you act?
Yeah.
Like, I just was like, why does everyone have to have a love interest? Like, please stop.
Like I think it would have been better had like they had pulled something like, oh, this is Merlin, but he's been reincarnated and he's slowly getting his memories, but he's this person who like thinks they're actually a teenager and is slowly piecing everything back together. Like that would have been more interesting than just like, oh, here I am, and oh, I guess Arthur's awake again, and oh, look at me, I'm in a younger body, but I remember everything.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, there's a lot with that book, and I did finish it, and I am probably going to check out the second book. I'm not paying for it. I didn't pay for the first book. I borrowed it through work. And I want to read the second book just because
that program so much.
Such a useful program. I have something though that I have had out since like November of last year, and I haven't taken it back.
Like,
but like,
and I'm like, okay.
We had inventory though, and no one told me that inventory was coming. So they're like, "Hey, did you bring back the book?" And I was like, what? And they're like, we had inventory. Like, didn't anyone talk to you? And I was like, no. And they're like, oh, can you bring back the book today? And like, I was getting out at 8 p.m. and also I bus. And I was like, no, because I'm already here. I can leave now and go get it. Anyway, short story.
I'll come back.
Like I told them, I was like, I'll leave now and go get it. Like it'll take me like probably about like an hour or two. But like, anyway, short story long. That book is the point that I was getting at with how you mentioned The Merciless. That is a book that anytime someone comes to check out at like work with it, I have to talk them out of it. Like I cannot.
It's hard too because I'm like, I want to make a sale, but I also want to tell you that this is bad.
Like
it's not good.
When we were having the 50% off sale, it was one of the titles on there, and I straight up like I texted one of my coworkers who like had already left to go back to school, and I was like, dude, I can't like willingly like sell this. Like I can't let someone walk out of here with it even at 50%. Like I'm just like,
I love
get it from the library.
That when I like before that was a thing, 50% off books at Barnes was not heard of.
Yeah,
like, it was definitely like a deep discount. Carve the Mark. Let's go way back.
Oh my god!
Immediately got put on 50%. We got so many fucking copies. And it went on 50% like within a few weeks. I swear to
Mhm.
God. And like I think that's interesting because she's coming out with like I don't know if it's adult or not. It has like a fucking young adult premise, so I'm feeling like it's one of those books they're gonna be like adult, young adult. We don't know. We don't know who will read this. Please just read.
At
Um,
work, people have been putting it in the YA section, but like actually scanning it, it's supposed to be in regular sci-fi. So
hmm.
I've continued moving it to regular sci-fi. As soon as we get those recovers for the Court of Thorns and Roses, I'm also moving those into adult sci-fi because they're supposed to be adult sci-fi.
Wait, so those covers aren't like fake
I thought
with
that they
like
were.
dragons?
Wait, did it come out that they were fake?
No, I just thought they were.
No, no, no. I think they're the real. Are they? Hold on, hold on. Okay, now I'm gonna have to.
Like for real though? But like they're actually getting moved out of the teen section?
Well, it's supposed to be okay. So the article that I read about the recovers was that the publisher was going to be properly marking them as like adult.
Good. But like the one thing is that the covers that I like those things that were going around, they don't match the new series and they make no sense for the books.
Okay, but you know what they do match? They match the girl with the dragon tattoo. And at the end of the day, isn't that all that matters?
It's a stretch, but I get where you're coming from.
Okay, yeah. I'm looking at them right now. EW.com. Okay, I see a lot of people talking about how much they hate the recovers.
No,
I
they're
kind of like
bad.
them, but I don't think there's anything like really about them that like makes me think, oh yeah, this is a Court of Thorns and Roses. It's
Mhm.
just kind of generic.
Gotcha. I mean, that's the one thing too, because I'm like, I feel like A Court of Thorns and Roses had its time. Like, I've honestly been thinking about rereading A Court of Mist and Fury, or specific scenes, because um, you guys have content coming for you. Mhm.
Is that the one
So
with the mountaintop scene? Or like the sky scene?
that is A Court of Frost and Starlight.
Okay.
Yeah. Um, that's the one that I borrowed from work because I was like, oh, I told everyone I wasn't gonna read this, and then I read it.
That's how it happens.
Fucking terrible, so bad. And I like the fact that at this stage, I don't have anything better to do with my life. I'll read Sarah J. Maas. Why not? But I'm not paying for that shit. Worked out real well in my favor. But no, my one thing is that considering how beefy this new one is, if it is not smutty, I am going to personally send Sarah J. Maas a letter and tell her how bad a writer she is. Like, because if there's no smut in her adult book, I'm gonna be so mad.
I think okay, so like this is based on nothing, but I I'm gonna laugh if there's nothing smut in the adult book and like watch them be like, oh, well, it's because now it's an adult book, like it's more prestigious, or like,
Oh
oh,
yeah,
Sarah J.
no.
Maas didn't like
The people
like
that will like try and sell her shit will be like, but it's like supposed to be more appropriate for like literature. And it's like, okay, but like the teenagers can read about like flying sex
yeah.
and painting designs on naked bodies.
Like, okay, so I tweeted about this and I still very much feel this. I feel like people because regardless of like people's opinions of Sarah J. Maas, like she sells.
She does.
And like so like if just the like super popular, not just like someone who's like kind of popular, but like the like truly like big popular, like anyone would know their name, like Leigh Bardugo, Sarah J. Maas, like those authors who are like the in between like of YA and adult and stuff like that. I truly feel like they need to be the ones to launch new adult. Be like, no, categorize my book as this. Like I'm a household name at this point. Like I can sell whatever in order to
Yeah.
launch it.
But I think the thing with Sarah J. Maas that I find really interesting is that authors that are really prevalent, like Leigh Bardugo with Ninth House, Jay Kristoff with Nevernight, they're
Mhm.
very much like, hey, this is a adult book. Like,
Yes.
and that's the one thing that I feel like I get frustrated with, because new adult in of itself is hard to categorize, because it's like, okay, what does it mean?
Yeah.
Like, if you have a book that's not appropriate for under the ages of like 12, I think it should be considered adult. Like, at this point, like, let's
Mhm.
just, not to say that YA itself is not, like, actually to say, I think YA being its own section in general is actually disregarding the fact that YA is literature.
Yeah.
Like, I think that we should just throw away those labels and just say, hey, everything is for everyone.
That's
As long as
true.
you have the maturity level to handle something. Like, I had this kid who was like, I want to read it. And I'm like, you're 7. No. Um, but I feel like at this stage, Sarah J. SJM is just one of those authors that I don't really get, because she is really popular, but she's not online. I'm like, I get it.
Yeah.
She doesn't have any reason to be. She gets trashed. I like doing it, so I kind of have to feel bad for her. But like, when Book of the Month pulled their shit with Ninth House, where they were fully aware of the triggers, of the content, of the publisher saying it was an adult book, that they just put it in their YA collection, but
Yeah.
Leigh Bardugo took it upon herself to be like, no, fuck you. Like,
Yeah.
this is my book. Absolutely fucking not. Like, I feel like that's what we need to see. But
Yes.
publishing companies and book subscription services are just not doing it. Like, they're not listening. And I just don't understand why that is. I'm like, you do know that YA and adult are becoming the same thing, because the age range that read Twilight, I think, and Harry Potter are becoming older, but they're
Yeah.
still reading. Like, I feel like the younger age range still hasn't had their series yet, because I feel like the last one that really happened was like The Hunger Games.
Yeah.
Like, since then, I feel like everything seems to keep aging up, and we should just hopefully see a mass demand for adult books, because everyone who reads that type of literature is adult,
Yeah.
and they want adult topics, which makes it hard for young adult, because you've got things like Court of Thorns and Roses, which, albeit, is literature that is super enjoyable and kind of like crack, but it is not appropriate for someone under the age of 12. And in bookstores, specifically like Barnes and Noble, you have your kid section, your middle grade section, and your YA section, all in a probably smaller area, depending on how your store is set up.
Yeah.
So a like 7-year-old could just go pick that up and read something that's not appropriate for them.
Yeah.
Albeit, I did it when I was a kid and started reading erotica real early. But we don't really want to just not kind of give our, like, parents at least the idea. But I also don't understand why we don't have content warnings on books.
Yeah.
Like, that it seems like a very simple way of just fixing the problem.
Well, because like every other form of media, like be it video games, TV shows, movies,
Yeah.
all have that. It's just not called like content warnings, but for like books and like the discussions online about whether or not content warnings should be in there. Like, I just hate the fact that we're having to be like everything else has this, and also have like it's just a whole thing. But yeah, it should be in there. Like, and if there are people, because I've seen authors say, well, I don't want people to be spoiled to it. I am someone who doesn't need a trigger or content warning for anything. Like, I do have that privilege. I can just go into something.
Yeah.
And I like to know very little about a book going into it as well, because I do like to be surprised. But there are people who need that.
Yeah. And like, the thing for me is that, like, I'd like to know what the content is before I go in. When it is in reference to sexual violence. Because I feel like there's been a few books that I've gone into not knowing that that's included, and been blindsided.
Yeah.
And I feel like people were talking about Ninth House when people had started reading the arc, like, closer to the release, and they were like all freaked out about it. And I'm like, guys, that's been a pretty common thread with Bardugo talking about her book. She's like, it's violent. It has sexual violence. You should know about this. But I remember I read Poison Study. That's a blast from the past.
Yes.
That book was supposed to be fantasy, and it was definitely more of like dystopian weird shit. And there is a violent rape scene, just randomly. like, and it's very detailed, like really out of the blue. And I was just like, oh, okay. And so now I'm like, it's not necessarily that like I can't read it, but it's just more of like, I would like to know.
Well, yeah.
So that's kind of where I'm like, if you have something, and like the other thing too, I think that like having started reading erotica really early on, a lot of like the like, smutty little novels, they'll actually tell you on the back what they have in them. They'll be
Yeah.
like, this book is sexy. Bear in mind, you are going to read about sex.
Yes.
Like, I just don't understand why some books out there have that, and other books like someone read it before it was published. I hope, like, you would hope. Some of these books, I don't think people read them beforehand. I think they just put them in the printing press and just push press and go and shit.
Handbook for Mortals.
Yeah, read that.
Yeah.
Rip me, God. Like,
Still waiting for book 2.
Honestly, like, I love the fact that like I did research on it, because I was like, okay, it's been kind of like a minute since this was relevant, but I found the book, so I was like, I might as well fucking read it. But I love the fact that she's like an actress, and one of her roles, one of the movies she was in was Trailer Park Shark. I'm like, oh, oh, honey, I just don't get it. Like, crazy shit. But no, I just feel like it would just be best, like, even if it's just like whenever someone decides to make a better platform than Goodreads, I can't do it, but I would really like someone to do it.
Why don't we
have a way of including the triggers for, like, or just put content, like, use the same system as fucking movies and use that. Literally every single teen book would be rated R, but do something that makes it easier for people to understand what they're going into.
Yeah.
So
I don't understand how like we haven't had something that's like a true competitor yet to Goodreads. Like, because I think it's everything that's like started up has been something just like really small from like not even like a small company. It's usually just been like people being like, hey, here's a new platform. And like, granted, stuff like that can take off because certain platforms that are huge now were just like people messing around on the internet.
Yeah.
But like, Goodreads functions like something from 2006.
I honestly feel like they've never updated it. It's the same website that it's been since it started. And it didn't start in 2006. It started like after I graduated high school, I'm pretty sure. Like, maybe a few years beforehand, but definitely not 2006. I'm Googling this.
It definitely, I feel like it was newish around the time that I was either a senior or a junior. So that fits into the timeline.
Yep. 2006. December 2006.
Oh, okay. So there we go. Yeah. Okay.
So, but like at the same time, it must have been that, like, it just does not feel like it's ever been updated. And at this stage, I don't honestly feel like it would be that hard to steal Goodreads. Like, just make your search function work.
Yeah.
Like, that's all you need to do. Like, the only thing that I really use it for is that, like, I can scan barcodes.
Yeah.
Like, that's the only thing that I'm like, okay, I'm not going to get rid of it because I can scan a barcode and immediately update that I've read the book. But I use a tracking system now, and I don't like Goodreads. Like, this is the first year that I've literally not done a challenge. I put it as 1 and I'm not going to worry about it. Like, I just don't care anymore.
Yeah.
I'm like, I read the 200 books, did the thing, not going to do it again. It's just not worth it.
And also, like, some people have started using Goodreads like it's like a Tinder. They've been messaging people and being like, hey, girl, what's your number? And then it's like, oh.
That's the thing, too. I had a few, like, I haven't ever had anyone, like, propose to me or, like, ask me out. But, like, I've had a few things that I'm like, what the fuck? Like, this is not a dating app. Also, are you talking about me? I'm confused. Yeah, no, you do have to like Google and then find the Goodreads page. Yeah.
What I find interesting is the fact that Amazon owns Goodreads, and like Amazon has this system set up in their own thing to have like one of the best search functions ever on the internet. Like, so that way, like when you're searching for something to buy, they can make sure they get your money. But somehow Goodreads like doesn't have
Yeah,
like a
I
better
don't quite
search.
understand too, because it's like, I think the thing is that there hasn't been a competitor, which
Yeah.
that's the one thing that I'm like, it's the only reason Goodreads has never changed. It's because there's never been a competitor that's lasted long enough for people to move.
I'm
But
trying to
I
like
saw
think of
somebody like got doxxed on Goodreads recently. Like
Somebody
some shit on Goodreads. Like you can't remove comments, you can't delete reviews. Things just get leaked like crazy on Goodreads. Like they don't have any way of controlling hate speech, things like that on there at all. And that's why I don't use it for pretty much anything. Like I don't really write reviews on there. I don't read reviews because for some reason everyone who does Goodreads reviews tells me the story of the book in the review. And I'm like, yeah,
Didn't you want summary?
It's got a synopsis. The first thing you see is the synopsis. Why would you put the synopsis at the end in your review? I don't get it. I don't understand.
You have to see it again in order for the review to like truly hit home.
You just gotta get I don't understand. Like even in my review videos, I give you like a 1-sentence synopsis, and if it's about the actual book, like if it's like a rant, you're getting the whole thing. Like you are not getting a synopsis. You're getting a play-by-play description of what I fucking hated about the book. You're not getting okay, so this is about Betty Jane and this is what she does and blah, 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 blah. I'm like, no offense to anyone does good reviews. I just don't get it. I don't get the concept. Like I like the ones that have all the gifts because I'm like, at least you used some creativity and didn't just regurgitate the synopsis, then just say you left a book. Like I don't get it.
Yeah.
I just don't understand. Yeah. I mean, that's the thing is that I definitely opened it like after high school, but it hasn't changed. And there's been no reason for it to change. And so if anyone would like to get some programmers on this to like just start something else that works. Because like I also don't think that you need a social media for books. Like I just like something that has a really good search tool that has a lot of things. I don't feel like it would be hard to make. Like it probably wouldn't be hard to make. So somebody make it.
I guess part of the issue is that like because all the competitors that have risen up for Goodreads have, I feel like, come at it from a very like social media.
Yeah.
Like there was, God, what was it? It was around the time, I think it was like 2006 or 2017, not 2006, 2016 or 2017. There was a competitor and it was just mostly like blogs, like you blogging, but it was like, we really encourage interactivity and all these different things. But it like,
I remember some sort of app or something that came out that,
because there's been several, there's been so many.
It was definitely 2015 or 2016 that was like, it was definitely like find buddies. And I'm like, no, that's not the point of this. That's what I use Instagram and Twitter for.
I feel like the thing that would like probably like be a true competitor is if someone created a version that had like a lack of the social part and just was like, here's a way for you to like search up books, here's a way for you to track your reading, here's a way for you to do this all competently.
I think that's the thing is like if someone created a book tracking website, like you could have a social part of it, but have the review part dropped.
Yes.
Like literally, like you just have the ability to mark read or unread, and you have the ability of like having your stats public, and you can choose what you can show. That I think would be brilliant because, and it's also kind of like, I feel like you have it for beer, you have it for movies. Like there's a whole bunch of different things you can track what you've read or what you've had so that you can keep up to date on what you like. Whereas like Goodreads, that's not the purpose of Goodreads. Goodreads for some reason is, let me tell you what I thought about this book that I've not read yet because it's not fucking out yet. Like that's where like they should have the ability of like, when a book isn't published yet on like a book tracking thing, like you can add it to a list of, I want to read this.
Yeah.
And then when it becomes available to read, you can have it as like available to read and a non-available to read. Like I just don't understand why this hasn't been created yet.
Yeah.
Seems like it would be really easy. But yeah, just so you guys know, Goodreads is the devil. So
But it's also the only thing we have.
it's really the only option. And it's like, I like being able to find a book immediately, and it's dependable, sort of.
Like, I'm just surprised that like even like Barnes and Noble hasn't like tried to set up like their own version of like a book tracking thing.
Yeah, but when I worked there, these social media people called bookstagrams. Like kids and their bookstagrams. And the people in the picture that came up with that word were like not that old. So I'm like, you don't know shit. Cool. Yeah, big yikes.
See, that's something I also feel would be important for a book tracking site. Decent recommendations. The Goodread recommendations that I get, like I'll like okay, let's say I went onto like a page for the 5th season. Recommendations would be something like, "Oh, did you mean Cheryl Kenyon's like blah blah blah
7th
series?"
book in a series. Yeah.
Yeah, and then I'll be like, "No." And then like the next recommendation will be like, "Did you mean Aragon?" No.
Also, wow, the leap.
Like it is
Legend.
it's always so different for every recommendation. I have never like had a list. And even okay, that's another thing I want to bring up on Goodreads. I will look up, so I'll Google, I'll be like, okay, what are queer books that are coming out this year?
Yeah.
Or like what are like stuff like that, like queer sci-fi, queer blah blah blah, or like just any like POC. And I will go on Goodreads lists. And then like the first things that I will see like at the top of that list will be something like from like Cassandra Clare, Sarah J. Maas.
Exactly. From like 10 years ago.
Yeah.
At least.
Yeah.
No, like I don't get it. Like, and I know that people who run Goodreads know that something's wrong. Fucking, oh my God. I remember, I don't know if you saw it, but like I went on to try and update that I had read a book because I haven't read that many this year. And Goodreads is like, we're not working. Use this time to go read a book. And I was like,
yes,
you bitch. I already read something. Oh man. Oh.
Yes, I remember this.
Oh, I was so pissed. I was like, your whole purpose is for me to update that I read a book.
And even then, that feels kind of passive aggressive on like Goodreads' part. It's like, oh, we're like, not working.
We're not working, so go read because we know you don't read. I'm like,
obviously, all you do is spend time on the social media talking to people about like
exactly, and trying to dox people. Like, wow, just wow.
Also, how often, like, because this isn't even something that happens like maybe once a year. Like, how often does Goodreads, the site, and the app crash? Where they're like, oh, we can't do anything right now. Like,
pretty regularly. And that's the thing too, is that I'm always like, is it my Goodreads that's just not working, or is it everybody's Goodreads?
Yeah.
What was it? YouTube that stopped working 2 years ago? Year ago?
Maybe.
I feel like there was something big, or Instagram or something, because I remember, I think it was Instagram, because I remember going to Twitter and everyone being like, oh my God, it's down. What are we going to do? Was it Instagram? Okay.
I do remember.
It's one of those sites that I'm like, oh, it's not working. Okay. All right. Bye.
I remember there was a point though where YouTube like wasn't working. I can't remember what it was. I think it just like got hacked. But I think this was like more than a couple years ago. I think it was just like something with the site. And then it was just like, oh, okay. Like if I'm not watching something from like, okay, so if I'm not reading and I'm not playing anything and I'm not watching like a show or a movie, then usually I'm probably on YouTube. But like if YouTube is down, then it's like, okay, well, I can go to other things at least. It's when I'm trying to upload something, and if it's down, then it's like, okay, sweetie, we're gonna talk.
We need to fix this like right now.
You need to immediately be working. I told my followers that I would be posting in an hour, and for once, I'm actually on time.
Yeah, exactly. The one time that you're on time, ready to go. That's the thing about the fucking sass with Goodreads, where it was like, go read a book. I was like, I did. I haven't all year. I want to update that I read a fucking book. So mad.
Something else that's really infuriating for me. Maybe I just haven't seen it on the site because like I've never seen it. But like, okay, I have my TBR shelf for like Goodreads has. I have not like I've just been adding things since like I started using Goodreads, which was back in like 2012, and there is no way to like really mass delete. Like
There isn't.
I
There
just,
are really basic functions, like just removing things from shelves.
yeah.
Like the fact that on my app, I have a question for when you add me as a friend that's like, do you follow me on YouTube? I can't see if someone responds to that on the app. And I use the app most of the time.
Yeah.
But when I go on the website and I actually see that people say, "Yes, I do. I want to be friends with you on here." Like that makes me so mad because like what if someone says, "Oh, I didn't know," or like, "Yes, I really like this." Like I don't get to know that.
Yeah.
And once I hit yes to their friend request, and why would I not when I'm on the app?
Yeah.
Because I'm already on the app. I missed it. Like I missed a connection that something like somebody made.
Yeah.
Like mm, like the fact that their app and their website just have big things that just should be cohesive and should have been updated, it just doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, the replies, like everything about the app is like Stonehenge, and like you've got like maybe the Bronze Age with the fucking website. Do those come before or after each other? Who knows? Um totally remember history super well.
It
But
just
like
it feels like baby's first website.
it does. And I just don't get why. So guys, basically what we're saying is we just need Read with Cindy to fucking get somebody at Twitter to build us a website that doesn't suck, but also a Twitter owned Goodreads would be toxic as hell.
It would be toxic as
But
hell,
it would
but it
be
would
fun.
function.
It would be fun and it would be fixed immediately.
Yeah, because if there was an issue, they would be like within a few
Maybe
minutes,
I
they'd be
will
like,
do a
"We are
video on this.
so sorry."
Like, oh yeah, no, like Twitter would be like, and we're gonna fix all of this shit, and you're gonna be able to like type one word in, and we're gonna know exactly what you're looking for. But if you want to find something from like 10 years ago that you tweeted, good luck.
Yeah, good
Good
luck.
luck. Someone will find it for you.
Oh, they'll
You
find
better
it for you.
yeah. Oh yeah, somebody else will find it. At this point, I'm like, I probably said something bad.
I
All right.
know. I know that there's like some old tweet of mine that is gonna creep up at some point, and I'm like,
I'm just resigned to it. Like, it's either going to be a Facebook status or like something. I don't know. Like,
because even if you delete something, like the history is there on the internet. If someone
oh
wants
yeah,
to find it, they will.
oh yeah, and like the craziest shit happens to people. It just doesn't make any sense.
I feel like something from my MySpace is gonna come up, and people are gonna be like, "Oh my
Damn,
god, can you?"
damn, dude. I had a MySpace. The thing is, though, too, I have been trying to find. I don't know if I've ever really talked about this on my channel, but I had a fashion blog for years. Like I was dead set on being a stylist,
Mhm.
like throughout high school, and I can't fucking find it. So I kind of want to do something bad or like something to piss people off, like really bad, so that they could find it for me.
Can you believe she thought she was a fashion designer? Oh no, I can't. And like in your other account, you're like, "Can you link it to me?
Can you send it to me, please?
I
I
need
want to see
drag."
baby Maddie taking all these glam shots of herself because, like, I knew how to work an angle and I was like 14. But like also I feel like it makes a lot of sense why I can't let other people take pictures of me because I would just set the camera on a timer and like get those angles myself.
Yeah.
But when someone else takes a picture of me, I look like a potato. Like I don't get it. I don't know why this is, but it's true.
No, I feel the same way because anytime I'm taking a photo of myself or even like recording myself, I have certain angles that I use. But anytime
Exactly.
someone like I know is like, "Let's take a selfie together," like this, and this, I'm like,
Hand me your phone.
I'm
Like,
like,
no.
"I'll take the photo."
Like, not gonna happen. I could probably do a YouTube video on this. I'm not gonna lie. But like I feel like it's been done to death. Goodreads sucks, blah blah blah.
Yeah, because everyone knows. Like
Everyone
Goodreads knows.
it's not a secret. Like
Yeah.
Goodreads is aware that it's shit, but it doesn't have to be anything but shit.
Yeah.
And like the thing is too is that I'm like I would want to stop using it, but it's literally the only option.
Yeah.
And when I want to find out how many pages a book has that I return to the library, I'm not going to go to Amazon to find that. I'm pretty sure it probably doesn't have that information. You know where it has that information? Goodreads.
Goodreads.
All right, guys. Last questions, because this was only supposed to be an hour and like 30 minutes. So I haven't had any text messages yet about like needing to leave, but like probably will here soon. So let me know what you're reading. Let me know what you're thinking. How are we? How are we doing? I pinched a nerve in this arm all the way up to here recently. Hurt like a motherfucking bitch. It sucks. I also type for a living, so that hurt. But feeling better now. 26 is when my body decides to fall apart. So
it's natural. It's part of the process.
It's part of life. Part of life. But yeah, I'm thinking BookNet Fest. Maybe. I really wanted to make book con happen this year, but we'll see. Hopefully maybe next year. But also I feel like a lot of people who usually go are not going this year. And I'm like, I want to be able to see everyone. So we'll see.
I won't lie, I'm mostly going to BEA because two of my author friends are like, I'm gonna be here. Also, you should come. And I'm like, okay.
Yeah. You're okay, Kelsey. It's good to see you here. So tonight I'm gonna see Birds of Prey. And that's pretty much the only thing that I was like, this must happen. And filming. I filmed today. Who knows if that video will see the light of day. But next week, my friends made plans for my birthday because my other friend has her birthday 5 days after me. Has to be 5 days younger, bitch. But they made plans where I must have been either not there or they thought I was there, but they were like, yeah, we're going to go to a bar that has a mechanical bull, which it's Vegas. It's a huge bar. It has a whole bunch of other things, but like, I was like, I'm pretty sure I would remember us making plans that involve a mechanical fucking bull.
Yeah.
Legitimately, a friend of mine was like, hey, you have a birthday coming up who lives in Seattle. I'm going to come down. And I'm like, you should come down this weekend so that you can see that happen. So that's what I'm doing for my birthday. Specifically, there will be dancing and that.
I'm going to need an update.
I'm sure there will be many videos. I am very sure. I have no shame in this game. It will be quite fun. I am so positive. Oh, happy birthday to your eldest.
Oh, that means your eldest is also a Pisces like us. So
Pisces, best sign.
Mm-hmm.
We cry.
Yeah.
On the inside, though. There will be lots of footage, I'm sure. I am very positive that things will be recorded. It will be great. It'll be very, very fun. I'm so glad that I just told that to everyone on the internet. Oh, 15. Oh man, that's a fun age. But yeah, okay, so any last questions? What are we reading? What are we thinking? How's everyone doing? I think Zach must have dipped out.
I will say I can't remember where I heard about this book. I know it was on Twitter, but I started a queer fantasy book called The Last Sun by K.D. Edwards. And it's kind of weird. It's like an urban fantasy, but also high fantasy. Like it's one of those like weird blends.
Last Sun?
The Last Sun, like the sun. And
Okay.
like
Ooh,
I read the first chapter and I am very much enjoying it. Like I really like it. So currently reading that, and that's fun.
Cool. I picked up a couple books from the library. Oh, and I just bought myself a birthday present, which is The Wolf of Oroñaro. I kind of wanted to get the Archivist, but I didn't realize it came out so soon. But like, it's called The Chronicles of the Bitch Queen, and I fuck with that. hard fucking core. I don't know anything about what this is about, but if your first line is let me read it to you. They called me the bitch queen. That I'm done. Like, yes, fuck me up. I'm sure hopefully it's gonna be great. Yeah.
Everything that you just said has made me so excited.
Right? I'm stoked. I also put like a shit ton of holds in the library because I have been like in the weirdest book slump because I've been like, I know the book that I should read, but I want to do these secret TBR videos that everyone likes.
Yeah.
But I can't do TBRs. I cannot do them. They make my brain hurt. And I also have been really busy. So
yeah.
Kind of been doing other things other than YouTube, as y'all can probably tell. Yes, Nevernight. But no. Okay, guys. I think we're gonna wrap it up now, but I will hopefully have I'm thinking I'll move because we were supposed to read Evelyn Hugo for the book club this month. I'll probably move that, and then my Patreon supporters will be able to probably, I think, vote on a video. We'll see what they want for March to just keep things rolling. But I have a friend coming into town, as I said, so I was like, well, I guess I can't do a live show unless he wants to be in it, which I was like, no, it's probably not gonna work. Don't worry, I'll be safe. Don't worry. Okay. All right. I'm gonna go ahead and end it now, unless anyone else wants to jump in. All right, guys. Thank you for the birthday wishes.
See y'all.
Bye.